Hey everybody, this is Casey Wallace, and we are back with our pre-conference interviews for the Empower You Expo with Tina Jones. As you know, this expo has now been moved to a virtual expo for your convenience due to the current global situation that's going on. But Tina's not going to let that hold any of us back. She's going to provide an opportunity for all of us to have a virtual expo. And today, LaMonte is an extraordinary gentleman. We're going to let him tell you a little bit about his story and what he's going to be chatting with you about. And he's going to be one of the extraordinary presenters here at this expo. The expo is, of course, once again on May 2nd. We want you to go to the Empower You Expo website and catch all of the ways that you can participate with that and get, intermingled with all of these extraordinary guests. We're also going to allow you to get onto LaMonte's website and his Facebook page so that you can engage with him further before this event actually takes place for you. So I want to say hello, LaMonte. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on. And I'm so glad that she just powered forward and kept it going. That is awesome.
We really love that as well. Of course, all of us speakers, presenters, and the other side of us, which is this network, we're all supposed to kind of be out, in the physical presence of everybody. And this is just super cool that Tina just, pivoted right over and said, no way, we're not going to let this slow us down, which is really all about exactly the title of her expo, right? Keeping everybody empowered and keeping everybody in the flow of their energy, right?
Yes, that is just awesome. It is so neat. And that's really a lot about what I do to help people to stay empowered and how they use their brain and how they understand what their brain is doing. And so I'm so glad to see her, using it that way and just keeping things going.
Well, LaMonte, let's chat a little bit about what you do. Let's please tell everybody, maybe kind of how long you've been doing this, how you got into it, and maybe exactly what your presentation is going to be about for the audience.
Yeah. So really, I got into this because personally, I dealt with people that were very close to me, family members and friends who struggled with mental health and for years and years trying to do what the mainstream has to offer with therapies and medications and different things like that, but seeing virtually no real progress. Sometimes temporary relief or temporary, things that made them feel like it was a little bit better here and there, but over time, seeing that it really just continued on and even gotten worse over time. And I was introduced to a gentleman who taught me a little bit about how this thing works up here, the neurology of our brain and how we build maps based off of our life experiences and how those maps become the foundation of how we process things, and that can be changed. And it's not just the way it is. We used to believe that the brain was very static and that once you were at a certain age that, it was stuck. From there on out, that's where you were. And so that's how you were going to live. And if you had an addiction or if you had patterns, that you're going to have to deal with those the rest of your life. And so dealing with them is what most practitioners and therapists and medications try to do. They try to help you deal with it. And so what I learned and what I found as I researched more and more and ultimately, a lot of it comes from the fact that back when Obama was president, he signed a bill called the Brain Initiative. And we've since put $950 million in this country into the research of the brain. And what that means is that the schools and the universities and anybody really that was studying the brain was able to get funding so they could have equipment to study the brain deeper. And one of those things that happened is that we really shifted the psychology, the study of the brain and psychology, because the psychologists used to take someone in and they'd let them have an experience or they'd walk them through some type of experience or questionnaire, and then they'd talk to them about it. And that's how they try to understand their brain. And one gentleman that I studied quite a bit from, he was a psychiatrist for years and years. And he said, we're the only doctors who don't study the organ that we work on. And so he really broke off and started studying the brain. and what the brain does. And so this research has produced a tremendous amount of information about the brain. There is so much new knowledge that really changes everything that we were doing in the past. But it takes so long for that information to come together. Matter of fact, the other day I calculated the rate at which these new research comes out. And you'd have to, just to keep up, you'd have to read 500 pages a day to keep up with that. So there's just groundbreaking pieces in that. And so I really just got into studying and learning that, and just really got obsessed with doing that. I was able to leave a regular job, and this was only a few years ago. And I left my regular job, and because I figured I wanted time. And so I started a little business, made a bunch of money so I wouldn't have to work for a while. And I used that to just study more and go deep into it. And so the way the brain works that's so fascinating is that it's very what they call neuroplastic. Those neurons in the cells and how they connect, and which creates our reasoning, can be changed. They can let go and reconnect. And I learned that we can get out of patterns, and mental health in the brain neurologically looks very similar to a regular addiction that someone might have. It's an addiction of the brain that is doing a repetitive pattern that is rewarded, and that's why it keeps doing it. But it's usually on a subconscious level, and we don't recognize those rewards. And so we have a really hard time breaking those patterns and shifting and changing the reward. And so that's what I do, is I help people come to a new, deeper understanding on a neurological level, a deeper subconscious level, to understand what's going on. Because the understanding is a key to breaking the patterns. Because when you see it differently, the reward changes. Our perceptions and how we process things control our biochemical responses and how our body responds and how we function. I used to be hypoglycemic. Now I do intermittent fasting, and I can go for days without food. It completely blows my mind that I'm changing the way that my brain sees things and does things. And I even took it to the level I theorized myself that if this is the case, then everything we're experiencing, the way we experience it, is based off of how we associate our past experience with our present experience. So what we associate with that. So let's say it snows outside and we got 3 inches of snow. Some people completely makes them unhappy and upset, and they don't feel great about it. Other people, they light up and they're excited, right? It just depends on what they're associating with that thing. And so as I learned this more and I studied this neurology and the difference behind it, I even, for fun, I thought, I wonder if the flavors that we have, that our tongue enjoys, is based off of associations. And so sure enough, I was able to use the system that I've come up with to reassociate what my brain believes and how it gets rewarded to the foods I eat. And I took some foods that I've always disliked, and I switched and changed them to where I liked them. And it was amazing. And so then I decided to take the food that I despised most of all, that would literally make me gag and throw up, and I shifted and changed it. And now I love it. And I eat it all the time. So that's a simple example, but we can do that with anything that has to do with any kind of repetitive pattern that doesn't get us what we want, that doesn't make us happy, that doesn't help us. So I can work with people, and within a few hours, they can shift so much that even an addiction is no longer there for them. They can get to the point where that addiction is not even attractive to them. It's not. It's a completely new concept to what mainstream has, and it really is phenomenal. And I live the most amazing life now. Every day is just a total blast. I get people, and especially people who are struggling with really severe things. Suicide is, I know it sounds crazy, it's my favorite thing, because I can help people see their life differently, where that no longer makes sense. And that's what they say afterwards. They're like, and I test them on it before we finish up. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if these thoughts? What if that happens? And they're like, their answers are completely different. And I said, well, what about taking your life? That doesn't make any sense. They're like, I don't know how I made sense of that ever. And it's just phenomenal. It's so fun. It is the most incredible experience to be able to do this. And I helped my family members and saw the big change and how much it could help people. And So then I met Dr. Oliver, who is a doctor that does functional neurology. And I shared with him what I was doing. And he said, wow, we got to get together. And so we actually have an office called the Neuro Clinic in Lehigh. And that's where we work together. Depending on the severity of people's cases, we work together. He has ways to actually measure where the brain is being turned off, where it's not connecting, and giving exercises and therapies that reconnect those up so that someone who's on a more severe level can get that shift. And then I help them. The way I say it, I explain it is our brain's like a library, and he helps turn on the lights, and I help walk people down the aisle and get the reward and see what's there and what they can actually do and how they can change their lives. And I love what Tina's done, because she's literally used her brain to just change the way she's seeing things, knowing that the environment has now changed, and now she needs to just shift the way she does it so that she can still get the outcome that she ultimately wants, which is what I want for everybody. I want the whole world to know and see that they can get what they want. Their brain is so capable. It's so powerful in so many ways. And it's almost like extending and expanding on the placebo. It's like get your beliefs so strong in there that your brain takes over. And it's just amazing what you can do with it. It's just absolutely fun.
LaMonte, then of course I presume your presentation is going to be obviously deeper and deeper onto this subject, and how people can get connected with you and get educated themselves on the subject matter a little bit. We always of course encourage everybody to do at least some of their own research to help support the decisions that they're going to make, including the decisions to get your assistance. We of course understand that perception creates your reality, and so you're taking great physical, actionable measures to help somebody understand how to shift their perception and how to activate the possibilities in their thought processes and their acceptance processes. So we love that. Can you give everybody your website, please? And are you're gonna be doing this presentation on May 2nd? Is that correct, LaMonte?
Yeah. So it's going to be a very empowering moment for everybody that watches. It's really incredible to get that deeper understanding of what your brain's doing and what holds you back and how to break those patterns and replace them with ones that work. So the Neuro Clinic has a website that I have a page on, and it's just the Neuro Clinic, theneuroClinicLehigh.com, I believe. Man, I got to think about that for a minute. If you search up the Neuro Clinic in Lehigh, you'll find it. And then I have a section that's /NAAP. That stands for Neuro Auto Associative Programming. And you can also see that in one of the links if you just scroll down. And you can read about the different therapies and the different things that we do, and look at questions and answers and some things that patients have said. And it's incredible because I've been doing this for about 2.5 years, and this is really the first thing I've done in any type of advertising or anything. And I've had so many clients want to learn what I do after they experience it that I actually have taught classes, and I've had a handful of students that have gone out and started practicing it themselves and helping other people. And it just lights me up to be able to know that it's just expanding and the ripple effect is happening. And I decided I just want more of that. So I'm starting to do some more things. I'm just kind of starting on my Facebook page, which is the name of my company is Fulfill Life Yourself, LLC. And so if you do a search for Fulfill Life Yourself and my name again is LaMonte Wilcox, so you'll be able to combine those two and figure out and see where those are on Facebook. And so I expect to have a lot more content out there very soon, especially with this added motivation that we have. So yeah, and really I'd like to really get out to anybody that has any interest or knows anyone that has anything like this. I was starting to do group sessions, and now I'm starting to do online sessions. And so to help people, it's just phenomenal. It's the funnest life I could have ever designed, and my brain designed it, and now I'm living it. So I want to teach you to do the same. Teach everybody to do the same.
Well, thank you so much. Of course, as all of you can see, LaMonte is truly living the demonstration of his wisdom and his knowledge and his enthusiasm. We always really, really love that. In today's world, there seems to be, unfortunately, a large amount of emotional imbalance, brain injuries, all kinds of just stress and anxiety. They're activating those hopeless depression states for people. Simultaneously, we are in this extraordinary field of getting more and more consistent messages about how empowered we are and how to find our empowerment and how to create the things for ourselves. And we here at Xpnsion Network are always excited to bring you broad range of information. So once again, you can be the empowered one in your life to create and resolve and realign and expand yourself into everything that you have ever dreamed of, and of course to turn around and share that with everybody else, because it is our responsibility to be the inspirations not only for ourselves but everybody else. LaMonte, thank you so much for spending time with us. We truly honor and thank your gift and your path and your enthusiasm to follow through with what you do. We're going to really look forward to seeing your presentation on May 2nd. Any other parting words for everybody on this viewership, please?
I just want to thank you for what you said. It is so true. We are in such a rut right now what our life experience is doing to us with technology and all these. As humans, we are experiencing something, our brains especially are experiencing something that is so different than it ever has before. And because of that, our brain does not adapt to it, and we are having so much problems, so much issues from that. And it is just, what I have to offer and tell people, it blows people's mind. They walk out of there as if they are on a different planet. It is so life-changing, and you nailed it. And there's just so much to know that helps to program us to think in ways that are so much more beneficial. So thank you so much. I look so much forward to this and appreciate all that you do and keeping this going. I love it. And I can't wait. It's going to be so fun.
All right, everybody, remember now, go to the empoweryouexpo.com. You're going to get all your information there. There's going to be buttons and links for you to click on for all of our presentations that we're going to be providing for you, sending you love, honor, and empowerment and possibilities for everything in your life. Please continue to tune in for these pre-conference events, and we're sending all of you love and blessings today and always. I'm Casey Wallace, and we will be back with you shortly. Thank you so much.